Spirit of Unity's online ministry. My name is Reverend Alicia Leslie. In light of the tragic events in Colorado on July 20th, 2012, today's message is going to be dedicated to finding safety in an increasingly violent world. I would like to begin with the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, may love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of light and love work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. And so it is. Amen. And what is the plan? The plan is good. Good for God, good for man, good for all creation. That certainly didn't seem the case Friday morning in Colorado. When I turned on the television and heard the news, I was beside myself, not only because of the tragic event, but because my daughter, my grandson, and his girlfriend all live in Aurora and could very likely have been at that movie. Several hours later, I was relieved to find out that they were okay. They weren't there that night, but my relief and my joy were greatly lessened by the fact that 72 families did not get that message, and the hundreds of people in that theater that night will never have life as they once knew it. Whether they were a victim of a bullet or a victim of the surrounding events, everyone was hurt. People today are seeking for answers and comfort. They're wanting to know how this could happen. Some people are finding that they feel better if they rationalize it and say, well, you know, it was a random act of one nutcase. That's not going to happen. Random act of violence. Other people are saying, well, I'm not worried. I got a gun and I know how to use it. The answer is not in rationalization and more weapons. You see, the way that we handle violence in this world is flat out not working. Our prisons don't stop violence. The death penalty doesn't stop violence. Even anger management classes sometimes don't stop violence. Violence cannot be fought with violence either. So where are we going to find safety in a violent world? I see all of the human ways of dealing with violence as straws on an already strained camel's back, ready to break from all the pain and all the suffering. Some people are asking why. Others, who see things differently, say, why are we surprised? This is simply the functioning of metaphysical law. It is principle. The thoughts that we consistently hold in mind, our words and our actions about violence as well, manifest in like energy. I don't know how anyone could be blinded to the skyrocketing incidences of violence that we are experiencing. Maybe we are jaded or numb. And I think that the reason that these things are share that with a story from the Bible, and the story is of Cain and Abel. You see, Cain and Abel were sons of Adam and Eve. They each brought offerings to God. God received Abel's offering, but rejected Cain's. Why is a story for another day. In any event, Cain was furious, and in an act of rage, he killed his brother. And when God came and said, Cain, where is Abel? And Cain said, how am I supposed to know? Am I my brother's keeper? And that's a question I'd like to pose to you. Are you your brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? I believe that to the extent we can be, we are. You see, we are all one. We are all a part of a greater whole, the allness of humankind. And any act of violence runs contrary to that allness. Envision, if you will, a swirling tunnel of energy, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, and it feels good, and all of a sudden something slams through there and breaks up that flow. What once flowed with ease is now greatly disturbed. Just like in Star Wars, when Obi-Wan Kenobi was talking to Princess Leia and suddenly reeled and said that there is a disturbance in the Force. And when they looked through their telescope, they saw that Princess Leia's planet had been blown up. I think that's what happened Friday morning, midnight, at the movie, that there was a great disturbance in the Force, a break in our comfort, a break in our oneness. In the movie Brave, the heroine is told that she must look within and mend the tear that was caused by pride. You see, pride is, what pride really is, it's a thought of separation, that we are above, better than whatever our fellow beings, or even creatures, or even all of creation on the planet. That is a primary error of consciousness. In truth, we are one. We are all one. What benefits one benefits the whole. What harms one harms the whole. Therefore, every act of violence affects every single one of us. And as our appetite for violence, and I hate to say this, folks, but we do have an appetite for violence. Why do you think that movie makers are putting more and more violence into their movies, into their games, into the music? Because there is a demand for it. And that is a primary error in our awareness, in our consciousness. You know, there was a guy that went to the doctor one day, and he said, you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. Every time I drink tea, I get a stabbing pain in my left eye. The doctor looked at him for a minute, and he thought, and he said, do you take the spoon out before you drink? And the guy was like, oh, duh. So, yes, that is a joke, but in our truth, do we have to take something out of our eye, out of the way we see things regarding violence, in order to see it in a new way? I don't think that we are bad people. I think that many people are in the dark about the workings of spiritual principle. I think it's real interesting that the movie that this occurred at was called The Rise of the Dark Knight. To me, that is very symbolic of a rise in human consciousness of a dark night of the soul experience. Spiritually, a dark night of the soul is something that a person experiences on their path of spiritual growth. It is a time of feeling estranged from, away from, unloved by God's presence. And as they go through this, basically one thing that has to happen is they have to surrender everything they think, feel, and believe to God, to something higher. I'm suggesting maybe we need to need to be in control of the way it is, our need to fight violence rather than to look at another way of living. I do not think we are evil. I think we are ignorant or unaware, or should I say, in the dark. Hence the movie, the symbolic meaning of the movie, The Rise of the Dark Knight, is that rise of a dark night in consciousness of the human soul. In this, can we surrender? You know, I'd like to write a new movie, and the movie would be called The New Day of Illumination, and the superhero would bring healing, mending that tear in the fabric of humankind that was caused by pride. You know, there's a couple things that I have heard repeatedly in cases of mass shootings and such. And a few of the words that are very common, and you may hear them if you, when you listen to the news. One of them is that someone was bullied or abused. Another one is that they were either expelled from an educational institution, or they were fired or unable to find a job. These are tears in our psyche, and every person wants to feel valuable and accepted and appreciated. These are the kinds of things that we want to work on healing in order that violence will not occur. I don't think we should tap someone on the wrist. As a matter of fact, I have thoughts about it, what I'd like to see that happen to that guy that did the shooting, that are very unspiritual and very unchristian. And I have to say to myself, that is just my lower consciousness, you know, get over it. The people went to the movie that night looking to see a superhero. I would like to ask you who your superhero, who your action hero is. Is it a living being that has done remarkable things? Or is it a fictional character with fictional abilities? I'll tell you about my heroes, my action heroes. One is Jesus. He taught us, in this world you will have tribulation, but I have overcome the world, and so can you. Gandhi said, be the change that you want. And Buddha, we are what we think. In Unity, we teach the principle I'm trying to demonstrate today. Thoughts are things. The thoughts we habitually and continuously hold in our mind and in our heart will manifest in our world. The good news is we can choose those thoughts. I do not believe we are evil. I believe we are good people that are unaware, that are looking for enlightenment. I believe we are either a part of the problem or a part of the solution. Which to be is our personal choice. I believe that the only true safety is a shift in consciousness, and I believe that the change will happen. How long it takes to happen will be determined by how long we are willing to continue to try to fight violence with violence, or to entertain our appetite for violence. One of the reasons that violence cannot be fought with violence is that it is not real, that it is darkness, it is being unaware of our oneness and our wholeness. Light shifts darkness. It doesn't have to fight it. It is about enlightenment. I invite you to be the light, to be the change you want in the world. May the plan be restored. May love and light and power restore the plan. God bless you, and know